Mr. McCabe. It's a great pleasure to serve under your chairmanship, and it's also a great pleasure to follow the honourable gentleman. When she started this speech, I think there was one of those throwaway remarks from the honourable lady that when we think about fireworks, we might think back to our childhood. I don't think back to my childhood when I think about fireworks, because the firework displays were absolutely awful that I attended. And there are three reasons why I don't look back with very much enthusiasm on those fireworks displays. Firstly, I don't think very much of Guy Fawkes Night. Why we celebrate the burning of a Catholic on that occasion is bizarre to me. Why we go to the effort of throwing the guy on the fire and letting off fireworks in celebration of that seems to me a very strange thing to do. Secondly, there is the enormous effort that is put into letting off fireworks, and quite frankly, I found that effort too much when I had smaller children and when I was a child myself. And the third reason I didn't like that was because for many years until she died, I had a Labrador as a pet. And it was we too had to take measures to make sure that she was out of the way when firework displays were taking place. But I do like some displays. I've come almost every year on New Year's Eve to the House of Commons, partly for the sociability of the occasion, but also to see the firework display from the eye across the Thames. And I think that is a spectacular occasion. I think if you look at the displays that take place in other parts of the world, in Sydney, for example, the display that is put on in the eye by the London authorities is spectacular and shows this town up for the brilliant city that it really is. And I have enjoyed that. I've enjoyed bringing friends and family to that. Of course I'll give way.
I'm very grateful to you for giving way. You're making a rather curmudgeonly speech, if you wouldn't mind me saying, about fireworks, and I understand the point he makes about the huge displays here in London, but there is a great deal of enjoyment found by many different people in much smaller displays in their local communities. My children greatly enjoy going to our back window and seeing displays over Chesterfield on things like fireworks night. It is possible for there to be smaller displays that are tremendously enjoyable, but I think what we're all concerned about is those people who use them irresponsibly or cause danger, and they're the ones we really want to be clamping down on.
I thank the honourable gentleman for that. I appreciate that. I will try to be less curmudgeonly in what I say over the next bit. I didn't intend to be curmudgeonly, and I'm sorry that it's come across that way, because I was introduced to this subject by my local paper, by the Henley Standard, who before Guy Fawkes this year ran a campaign, and the campaign was called Ban the Bangs. And that campaign I fully supported. I had some observations on it, but I fully supported on it. And the people who participated in that campaign were principally pet owners. They were principally dog owners and cat owners. And one of them, for example, said, I tremble, both she and her dog tremble uncontrollably and are very, very upset. And I think that is a very important point to bear in mind. And what the campaign was trying to do was to try and push people to go into organised displays, which, despite the comments that have already been made, I find within my own constituency are organised not just by the district and county council, but by individual parish councils, and I'll come on to say something about that, who do very good displays, and they're organised by the parish councillors themselves. And I think I was struck by something that one of the people who organised, who participated in this campaign, I was struck by what she said, And she said, "I don't want to spoil people's fun, but why are they so loud?" And I think that that's an important point. We don't want to spoil people's fun, but why are fireworks so loud? And I think my honourable friend mentioned silent fireworks, and I mentioned silent fireworks in an intervention. And I appreciate that they're not entirely silent, but they are quite a lot silent. And I think they can play a part in dealing with this, but they don't take away the whole of the problem. They take away the noise problem. They take away the argument that fireworks are very loud, but they don't take away the problem of flashes. And it is the flashes that often cause the most distress to animals. Many animals can cope with the increase in noise, and they cope with that with traffic, backfiring and things like that all the time. But what they can't cope with are the sudden flashes. And I think that while silent fireworks have their role to play, they don't answer the whole of the question. So I do think that there is a tremendous amount in the idea of us working together to provide organised displays for people to go to. And the parish council of the village that I used to live in was a bit like Ipswich, I think. It organised a display each year, which I think the whole village came to on the green of the village, and it was always well organised. I can't recall in all the 20-odd years that I lived there ever having seen an accident there, and I think that it was a very good illustration of what can be achieved. What I said to the campaign was that I understand the need for the campaign, and maybe this is going back to being curmudgeonly again, but what I said, I understand the need for the campaign, but I think that we ought to push for intelligence, common sense, and courtesy to rule in this. There are three of the rarest elements in the universe, but I think that we should push for them to be there. Intelligence for how to use fireworks, common sense in how to go about organising an event, and the courtesy which the honourable gentleman spoke of in his speech, of telling people that you are going to have a display. And of course the government does have some public awareness on this. It does produce a Celebrating with Bonfires and Fireworks, a community guide. And I think it is time that that was looked at and updated and takes into account the sort of activities that go on, that are organised by councils, so that they are as safe as they possibly can be. I go back to where I started from. I like the big firework displays. I love the big firework display here in London. But quite honestly, if I have to give up one for the other, then I would happily give up the individual displays and go for the big displays which have all of the razzmatazz that I'm looking for in them. Every new year I stand here open-mouthed watching the display from the eye, and I think they add quite a lot to this city.